I have a plan to share with you. 3.95% for 3 years. Now this plan is first come first serve basis, so do go and check first whether it's still available or not. I guess it's going to get snapped up pretty quickly. That's why I'm producing this for you. And I'll be sharing with you my referral code also. So if you would like to apply, you do know where to input that. Besides that, because this is a product that's going to be sold out very quickly, I do want to also value add to you by sharing with you some trends in terms of interest rates, so that hopefully you can benefit further. Fair enough? Let's go. Hi guys, welcome back. Now I went to cut my hair already, so wishing you firstly a happy new year. I'm also getting ready for the new year itself. Without further ado, let me review to you this plan. This plan's name is actually TIQ, TIC, 3.95%, and this is guaranteed. Later I'll be drilling into details, pros and cons, so do stay on for the full part. Now let's look at things. 3.95% per annum when you hold it to maturity. The duration of plan is only one type, 3 years, and the minimum is $5,000 in cash. The maximum can be up to $1 million. Later I'll be sharing with you also if you have very big amounts, what to do. There is a life protection of 101% of the single premium that you've made, small amount, negligible, and there's guaranteed acceptance regardless of health condition. Because endowment plans like these, they don't focus on protection. And last but not least, everything is applied online. Now let's drill on deeper to the guaranteed rate, because that matters to you, correct? You'll see over here, using a 5,000 premium illustration, you see that maturity value from 5,000 is $5,617 after 3 years. Now this is pretty good because it beats Singapore savings bonds, which is only yielding 2.84% if you hold it for 3 years only. But what I want to draw your attention is that the surrendered value from now all the way to 3 years later is not at your principal. You realize that, for example, if you take it out at year 2, you're only going to get back a fraction of your premium. Now speaking to here, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I observe on the plan, as well as what strategies you should adopt if you would like to purchase this plan. So coming to here, just now you mentioned the max is $1 million, correct? If you would like to park $1 million for 3 years, you think it's okay. But having said that, you have some lingering doubt that you might need a little bit of capital. Then I think a logical suggestion is to maybe park $900,000 and $100,000. 2 policies instead of one lump sum $1 million. You can buy multiple policies, which means if push comes to shove, you need to surrender early, then at least you can give up the smaller value plan with some losses. Then the second part is this plan good for emergency cash? Quick answer, probably no, because there's no flexibility in withdrawal. If you prematurely surrender it, you don't get back your principal. So look to Singapore savings bonds, much more liquid in terms of withdrawal. This plan really fits if you have a 3-year time frame, you're very comfortable with locking the monies in, then I think 3.95% for 3 years is about the best you can get. So if you'd like to apply, simply go to tic.com.sg, look for the TIC 3-year endowment plan, and at the My Info stage, you realize you can input a referral code, and this is my referral code, ARA99327. If that, I'll say a big thank you for supporting this channel also. Now some other frequent questions that you may have include who can apply. It's anybody who's a Singapore resident, valid NRIC or FIN. You must be at the age of 17 and at a maximum of 70. And last but not least, let's address who is the insurer. Etika is an insurer, it's a smaller player in Singapore. But more importantly, this is an endowment plan, which means it falls under SDIC's PPF scheme. Look at the wording of this, you realize that any life insurance, you have an aggregate cap of 500,000 guaranteed. Again, disclaimer, that's my understanding only. So again, if you have $1 million, maybe park 500,000 will do lah. So if you agree or if you have benefited already, help me smash the like button and share it with a friend who's looking for safe solutions. I think this is one of the better ones right now in the market. And if you like updates, you can actually look for me on Telegram, Josh Tan Updates Official Channel, Josh Tan Investment Official Group. Now speaking to here, let me next go to the second part of today's discussion, which is trends I'm seeing in terms of endowment plans and interest rates. The first, what I'm observing right now is that endowment plans are coming back in the market with guaranteed rates again. And this is a positive trend because I'm a financial advisor. There's something at least I can bring to the market for depositors. Previously, there was an offer by FWD which was even bigger in amount than this, but it was snapped up so quickly that I couldn't even get any of my private clients on board with it. FWD actually had a 2-year 4.5%. So again, first come first serve. Right now, 3.95% for 3 years. If it's still available and you'd like to snap it up, do go and apply quickly. But then the usual thought is, while previously it was higher. But again, this concept when it comes to money changer is a very good analogy. You know, when we go to Malaysia, we change for ringgit, correct? Now you go and change, it's 3.3. Then you'll be thinking, hey, I heard a friend who changed at 3.4. Wow, 3.3, this money changer is no good. Actually, it's not true. The question that should be asked is, when did your friend actually change for that ringgit? Because if it was done in November 2022, you realize that it was 1:3.42. So maybe 3.4 is not even a good rate at that point of time. So what I like to present to you is what is best at current moment. So if you'd like to apply for the plan, look for links below and input my referral code. Let's look at Singapore savings bonds. The newest issue you realize is 2.84% for 3 years, correct? Singapore savings bonds are still my preferred solution for parking emergency cash. Anytime you want to withdraw, next month, it can come out already. And there's no reinvestment risk because you have the option of keeping it all the way for 10 years. Right now, the 10-year rate is an average of 2.97%. My guess is that the total subscription for Singapore savings bonds will drop yet again, because if we see the trend, you realize that less and less people are applying for Singapore savings bonds already. It peaked out quite clearly in November 2022 when the rates were 3.26% for 1 year and an average of 3.47% for 10 years. And as of this moment, banks are stepping up their savings rates, which means capital is held back in high interest accounts like OCBC 360, UOB One account, and people with home loans are using capital repay back, myself included. But I'd like to touch on a bit further on Singapore's interest rate trends. Let's look at an old issue of the SGS. You realize that interest rates have kind of peaked in end of 2022 and indeed has been tailing downwards. The usual question is, who's better, Singapore savings bonds or SGS? Again, SGS, if you want to liquidate it early, you need to sell on the open market, and there's no guarantee in principle. Because if you bought an issue and the interest rate surges upwards, you see that your bond price will start to drop in value. That is why Singapore savings bonds is the only instrument that allows you to trade it back in and get back your principal plus interest. So clear about that. As always, if you have questions, leave in the comment sections. And I have a last slide to show you. This is actually US 10-year treasury rate. The climb has been steep, but I've realized something. If you scrutinize at the right hand side, you realize that interest rates had a second peak in November, December, and then has trended downwards again. This very much looks like a head and shoulders pattern. And not just that, US dollar rate has been dropping quite significantly over the last few months. These are signs that longer term interest rates might normalize. Maybe it's good news or bad news, depends on whether you're a borrower or a saver. But I still think the best thing to do for 2023 is to invest aggressively, because bearish sentiment, that's actually when you get good value in terms of your equity investments. As always, I'll be producing more content relating to that. I have one that's coming up. There's top 10 dividend shares in Singapore. So if you're keen, again, smash the subscribe. Stay tuned for that release and follow on this previous tutorial. This touches on my pick for top dividend share in Singapore for 2023. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It might surprise you who it is. With that, I'll sign off from here. Take care. Invest safely as always. I'll see you next one. Goodbye.